the way they're talking now, it's as if statutorily this is a liberal seat. Why, you can't replace it with somebody who actually is more faithful to the rule of law and the Constitution, as if it's written in stone. I'm sure, Alex, you've seen, they've talked about doing everything. These things are just crazy. Everything from Eric Holder saying, well, if this goes through, we have to pack the court, add more justices to it to be able to outvote whoever gets into that seat, to Nancy Pelosi and AOC actually saying, oh, well, we may have to stage an impeachment, and they're talking about Bob Barr, so that the Senate will be taken up with the time of a trial rather than being able to confirm a justice. That's how extreme they've gotten about these issues.
Yeah, and this is, again, I mentioned this in the first hour of the show. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was openly negative on court packing, and yet we saw threats within 12 hours of her death from Jerry Nadler,
right,
that if Trump tries to replace her, then they will have to pack the court in her honor. And I imagine no one will say anything in the establishment press to suggest that Nadler is a liar and a fool. I'll say it over and over again because it's fun for me. But we have to be very conscientious of the goalposts that are going to get shifted constantly. And they will always get shifted to a place where if the Republicans dare try to fill this seat, then they're evil people.
Well, I think the Republicans historically should follow the precedent of the Democrats and one of their favorite heroes. And what I mean by that is Franklin Delano Roosevelt in 1940, running for re-election, had the opportunity to make nominations to the Supreme Court, and he did, and they were confirmed. So that, to me, sounds like a very good example to follow.
Right. So this is exactly where I wanted to focus on the most today, which is what is the precedent when you've got a executive branch and a Senate that are controlled by the same party? What is the precedent when we're in terms of how long confirmations typically take place? We got exactly 4 months until there'll be either the president will be sworn in for a second term or Joe Biden will get sworn in. So those are the two main things: is Senate Republican, Senate's Republican, President's Republican, and we got 4 months. What does the precedent say in that scenario?
That is more than enough time to confirm a Supreme Court justice. And again, they would simply be following precedent to do that. It wasn't just Franklin Delano Roosevelt, but another, used to be a big hero of the Democratic Party was, of course, President Harold Wilson, who also, when running for re-election, had a Supreme Court nomination open up and nominated and got his justice confirmed. So again, there's plenty of precedent for doing this in an election year under the circumstances, which is the White House and the Senate controlled by the same party. That's what makes this very different from 2016, when the president was not running for re-election and there was a divided party between the White House and the Senate.
Is there any thought in your mind that if the Democrats didn't have both the Senate and the presidency, that they wouldn't put someone forward and vote on them?
Of course not. They would do that. In fact, they would probably have somebody confirmed probably within a week of the president nominating a replacement for the court.
I agree with you. I think you're absolutely correct on this. So it's but they're going to act like this is an outrage, and they're going to cite what happened with Merrick Garland, which is that he was put forward, I think, about 8 months before Trump was sworn in. So in the final year of Barack Obama's presidency, but people are not noting that the Senate was controlled by the Republicans there. And that's just one of those things that it's just, elections make a difference, Hans. And we act like elections are not supposed to matter when the media doesn't want them to matter and when the Democrats don't want them to matter.
No, that's exactly right. And this is very, very important. And look, I think the vast majority of the Republican caucus would vote to get somebody confirmed before the end of the year. As you know, there are a small handful of potential no votes from Susan Collins to Mitt Romney, and I think they should be thinking seriously about. Look, the base of the Republican Party, the conservatives around the country, those who know that the future of the rule of law is at stake in this seat, I think they will be seriously angry if any of those senators cause a nomination to go down in defeat.
Hans von Spakovsky is with me from the Heritage Foundation. Hans, so of the names that are being talked about, do you have any insight into who the president could pick? There's been a few names I'm hearing more often. It's hard to know for sure what's going to happen, but are you hearing anything that is noteworthy at this point?
No, I'm hearing the same things that everybody else is in the media. I don't have an inside line to the White House. Obviously, as you know, the president said he wants to put a woman on the court, and they're talking about Judge Barrett or Judge Lagoa from Florida, who's also been on a federal court now for a while. I have no idea between those two who the president favors the most, and I don't know if there are others in the running too. What I will say is the folks who have been nominated, confirmed to the federal courts in the past 4 years of the Trump administration are some of the best, most qualified judges we've ever had on the federal court. So he has a wide selection of people that he could promote.
Yeah, I think so. And I'll be interested to see if I'm kind of curious that he's playing a little bit of the identity politics game, but it could be wise politically. I don't know. I'm cynical in this regard, but he's talking about it must be a woman. And a lot of the discussion with Lagoa is that she's a Cuban American. She could help win Florida. I hate all that stuff, Hans, but maybe it'll work. Do you have any thoughts on it?
You know, I hate that stuff too, Alex, and I actually just hope that they get not just the most qualified lawyer they can, but somebody who in the past has been through criticism by the progressive left and has neither backed down nor changed to be more accepted on the editorial pages of the New York Times and the Washington Post, because that's what we need on the court. Somebody who is going to stick to their guns and is not going to give into that.
Yeah, that's the main thing, is we need someone with that sort of level of backbone. So what do you think? So of all these things that are out there, do we think that there is some sort of impeachment? Do you think we see, if the Democrats win, court packing? I think they're going to try to pack the court anyway, regardless of what happens over the next 4 months. What do you think is next to come?
This really makes the elections even more important, because if Democrats gain control of both the House and the Senate, and potentially the White House, then yes, they will try to pack the court. I think there is a possibility they could actually go through with the crazy idea of impeaching someone in the Trump administration like Barr in order to take up the Senate's time. And that kind of manipulation and actually really corruption of the political system has to be opposed.
I'm with you on this 100%. Last thing that I want to mention is Pennsylvania legislature is preparing a federal lawsuit to challenge the mail voting rulings we mentioned on Friday's show. Any thoughts here? Do you see any recourse of what things that can be done in Pennsylvania over the weekend that we didn't mention last week?
No, I think they should go to federal court, and I would hope the Supreme Court will take it up and apply the rule that they've applied in the past, which is that you can't make these kind of major changes in an election system right before an election, because it's too chaotic, it's too confusing. And that's been their standard application of law now for quite a while.